I think there are 4 kinds of clocking. And I've given them levels. So I'll be talking about clocking level 1 to level 4. There is socially acceptable behavior and socially unacceptable behavior. So let's talk about the only socially acceptable behavior, which would be clocking level 1, which is noticing. Okay? Then, from now on, we are already moving within the area of socially unacceptable behavior. Level 2, clocking level 2 is reacting. Clocking level 3 is maliciousness. And clocking level 4 is danger. Okay, let's talk about them. Clocking level 1, noticing. Okay, so clocking level 1 is basically the person sees you, clocks you, and then the person moves on. Done. End of story. Best possible way of you getting clocked. It's basically what I meant with the quote from before, that people won't even really care about our specific trans experience, and people will just let us live our lives in peace. So basically the whole concept of passing is even nullified when all people would handle themselves in that way. Like it's the society we should aspire to become at some point, where we acknowledge our differences and we're simply noticing, and we're not pointing fingers and God knows what. So level 1, noticing, that's the best possible way, so to speak, when it comes to clocking. Okay, let's talk about clocking level 2. Clocking level 2 is reacting. And when I talk about reacting, I talk about finger pointing, giggling, snickering, that whole process of othering us, and so on. So there's definitely also a gray area where level 2 ends and level 3 begins. And they blend often. There's a gray area, for sure, for sure. It's a very personalized experience. For me, also, level 2 means, for example, let's say I was just clocked, and then this person strikes up a conversation with me, and I am being bombarded with questions like, oh my God, did you already have the surgery? And do you still have your penis? And all of that. That is clocking level 2. That is that for me. Let's talk about clocking level 3. Clocking level 3 is maliciousness. It's when people not only finger point and giggle, it's when people have an ugly, a vile, malicious reaction to us, misgendering us purposely, like saying things to us like, you'll always be a man, no matter what you do. You can turn your dick inside out, but you will always be a guy. Whatever. That clocking us and then making fun of us publicly, hate speeches, all of that. That is clocking level 3. And clocking level 4 is danger. It's when people clock you and they want to harm you physically. I don't have to open this book in this podcast already, but we are getting killed in record numbers, and we are more targeted than ever, just for simply existing and breathing and taking up space. So this is the worst kind of clocking. And I hope wherever you are in the world, that you are safe, and that you are allowed to live and breathe and exist as your authentic self, as the life, that you are allowed to show up the way you want to, that you are allowed to breathe, that you are allowed to exist, that you are allowed to live free of danger, free of harm, living in ease, living in peace, in full honesty. It genuinely, it's just, that level 4 is the worst kind of clocking, and I hope you'll never encounter clocking level 4. That we're getting killed out there, man. So just please be safe wherever you are. That is very important. Yeah. So let's talk about how to deal with getting clocked now that we know about the levels of getting clocked. Okay, so with all of my statements, I'm just simply going to assume that you are in a safe environment, like in a store, whatsoever. And if not, as I said, when it comes to clocking level 4, go, run, hide, call a cab, call your friends, call the cops, just, you don't know what people are capable of. Always protect yourself first. Run, hide, leave immediately. No, we are just not going to open this book in this podcast. I can't. So please be safe. Always be safe first. Let's assume from here on out that you are safe. So, what are you going to do when you get clocked? Accept that it happened. Breathe in, breathe out, let it go. I tell you why. Because it already happened. The clocking already went down. Don't go all, oh my God, you just clocked me. Why the F? Why is this always happening to me? I hate myself. I hate this. I hate my trans. Whoa, 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 whoa. Back up, back up, back up. You getting clocked or misgendered doesn't mean a thing, actually. Just correct the person that is maybe misgendering you. Maybe there's not even an ill will behind it. Maybe she's just confused. She doesn't know what to do. I mean, don't worry about looks and stares. Just don't worry about them, because let me tell you why. There's this apt quote. Lisa Nichols, I think it's from Lisa Nichols. She says, other people's perception of you is none of your business. So you getting clocked doesn't matter. It doesn't invalidate your transition. You're not less of a person because you just got clocked. As a trans person, it takes guts and lots and lots and lots and lots of courage to live authentically, to live the way that you feel is right for you. And to live the way that you feel is right for you, that is already an act of courage. Getting up in the morning as your authentic self is already an act of courage. Always know that you are bigger than this moment. This moment is not this moment is not defining you at all. You are bigger than this. Who cares about one person or 10 people clocking you out? I mean, listen, it took so much work for you to get to the point where you are now. I mean, remember the hardship you had to endure to just get to the point where you are now. The fact that you the fact that you got clocked basically bears one amazing message. You're obviously leaving the house as your authentic self. You live and move around as you see fit in your authentic shell. And that, honey, takes a lot of courage. And you are doing great. So don't take it to heart. Honestly. Okay, maybe this helps. Think of yourself as an aloe vera plant. I saw this in a documentary and I was so inspired by it, and it helped me sometimes. So can you recall the image of how these plants just reject the water off of their leaves? I know technically they are diverting the water then into their roots, kind of. Let's just forget that for a second, okay? Let's just go with that very strong image of these plants rejecting the water. Think of the water drops as the looks and the stares and you getting clocked. basically, okay? And think of yourself as the plant. Rejecting, denying these things access to your heart. You basically renouncing the entire thing, right? Like they trying to, all these looks and the stares and everything. You're not having it. They can't hurt you. You're not letting them. They're not allowed to enter the space of your heart. So when you get clocked, breathe in, breathe out, let go, and LOA mode on. That was, it helped me. Maybe it works for you too. And as Jay-Z says, dirt off your shoulders and just get on with your life, honestly. Pay them no mind. Always know that you are transitioning for yourself. So this is definitely something that can help you in a situation where you just got clocked. Ask yourself, am I transitioning not to get clocked, or am I transitioning to live a full, authentic, and amazing life? My best life. I'm sure you know the answer to this. So, as the title says, always know that you're only transitioning for yourself. Make it about you. Don't transition for anyone else but yourself. Other people's perception of you, and we already established this, is none of your business. Instead of trying to be the most unclockable, the most desirable, the most beautiful woman that ever lived, and so on, you know what I'm saying? So try to be the best version of yourself, the version where you feel comfortable and beautiful. Don't make it about other people. Make it about you. Make it about that, so that you can look in the mirror and be like, yes, girl. Like that sort of attitude when you're like, I'm feeling myself. Like that you're proud of what you see in the mirror, because you don't want to get stuck in a rut where you're just trying to change people's perception of you, because that is not in your power, honey. Because I'm speaking from experience here. So think of the whole thing in two circles. Like there are things you can change, and there are things you definitely cannot change. So, and guess what? You being unclockable is it's basically people's perception of you, right? That is in the circle of things you can't change. You cannot change that. So focus on yourself and make the transition all about your wonderful, authentic self. And the rest will follow. I promise. I promise.